On Monday, the football world finally discovered the winner of the 2025 Ballon d'Or. After months of speculation, debates, and endless conversations, the prestigious award came down to a head-to-head battle between two incredible talents: Spain's teenage sensation, Lamine Yamal, and France's Ousmane Dembélé. In the end, it was the Frenchman who edged out the young star and claimed the most coveted individual prize in world football. For Dembélé, this wasn't just a trophy. It was a deeply emotional moment. After years of battling injuries, setbacks, and criticism, he finally reached the very top of the game, and on his very first nomination. Now, let's be honest. Both players had phenomenal seasons. Both were more than deserving of the award. But at the end of the day, someone had to win, and someone had to lose. And that's exactly what we're here to explore. These are the 5 reasons why Lamine Yamal lost the Ballon d'Or. Reason number 1, trophies. Yes, Barcelona had a fantastic season, lifting 3 major titles in the 2024-25 campaign. But Dembélé's resume was even stronger. He helped Paris Saint-Germain pull off something historic, their very first UEFA Champions League triumph. And not just that, PSG completed a rare European treble. So while Lamine Yamal's Champions League run was impressive, reaching the semi-finals and delivering standout performances, the reality is this: when your direct competitor not only performs on the same stage but also scores, delivers, and ultimately lifts the biggest trophy in club football, well, beating that is nearly impossible, especially in a year without a major international tournament. And that's just the first reason. But before we break down the rest, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of our deep dives into football's biggest stories. The third reason is even more shocking than the second, but before we dive into that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit that button now so you never miss out on our deep dives and exclusive content. Now, let's break down the second reason Lamine Yamal missed out on the big award. Simply put, he didn't rack up enough individual accolades. Sure, he was outstanding in every competition he played, but standing out as the absolute best? That's a different story. Lamine wasn't the top scorer, nor the best player in the Champions League. He didn't claim the same honors in La Liga. Heck, he wasn't even the top performer on his own team. So how could he be crowned the best player in the world? Contrast that with Ousmane Dembélé. He was named the best player in both the Champions League and Ligue 1, and finished as the top scorer in France. His achievements put him on undeniably higher ground than his former Barcelona teammate. Some might even argue that Rafinha could have been a stronger candidate from the Barcelona camp, but that's a story for later. Right now, let's look at another factor that may have worked against Lamine: class and fair play, both on and off the pitch. Here, Dembélé clearly has the edge. And don't get it twisted, we're not saying Lamine is arrogant or pompous. He's just a confident, outspoken young player, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a bigger picture here. A social media narrative that's been quietly working against him. Online campaigns have painted him as flamboyant, arrogant, even difficult. And that can sway opinions, especially among journalists who vote on these awards. The harsh truth: perception matters. And when the narrative online labels a player negatively, it can tilt votes, even if the reality on the field tells a different story. Does this mean Lamine will never win the award? Absolutely not. But this year, it was a tight race, and being the underdog without a Champions League title likely made these external perceptions a deciding factor, further reducing his chances. Now, remember a few months ago we made a video explaining why Lamine Yamal might not lift the Ballon d'Or this year. Well, the next point we're about to discuss was one of the key reasons we highlighted back then. The truth is, the Barcelona community didn't seem to settle on their candidate for the award until very late in the season. For much of the year, Rafinha was the front-runner. And it wasn't hard to see why. He had almost everything in his favor: goals, assists, and individual honors. He was named La Liga Player of the Season, finished as the Champions League top scorer, equaled Cristiano Ronaldo's record for the most goal contributions in a single Champions League campaign, and matched Dembélé in goals scored. If Barcelona had fully backed Rafinha until the very end, he might have given Dembélé a much closer fight for the prize. At one point, there was even a brief surge of support for Pedri to win the Ballon d'Or. But after Lamine's standout performances against Inter Milan in the Champions League semi-finals, the narrative shifted. The Barcelona community pivoted to champion Lamine Yamal, which ultimately propelled him to a second-place finish. However, this late shift didn't come without controversy. Some purists felt Rafinha was being treated unfairly, and it's likely that a portion of Barcelona-affiliated votes that could have gone to Lamine ended up going to Rafinha instead, further limiting Lamine's chances. Meanwhile, at PSG, the situation was simple. Dembélé was the uncontested candidate. Ask any PSG player or staff member at any point during the season, and the answer would have been unanimous. Dembélé. Barcelona, on the other hand, was far more divided. Players and staff often hedged their answers or mentioned different names, making the internal consensus less clear. Then there's the hard truth about the numbers. Lamine just didn't score enough goals in the 2024-25 season. In modern Ballon d'Or voting, goals are a massive factor, especially when two attackers are going head-to-head. Last year was different because the battle was between a midfielder and a forward. But two attackers? Goals become the ultimate currency. Lamine scored 21 goals across all competitions for Barcelona and Spain. Dembélé, on the other hand, scored 36 goals for PSG in France, and he added a golden boot to his trophy cabinet. When it comes to pure goal scoring, the comparison was simply not close. One particular fact kept coming up in discussions online. Lamine scored just 9 league goals all season. That statistic was often used against him, and there's no denying it was a major factor in him missing out on the Ballon d'Or. But here's the thing. Lamine seems fully aware that this was a weakness. In interviews, he's openly admitted he's working hard to improve his goal scoring this season, and the results are already showing. He's taking more shots per game, stepping up for penalties for both Barcelona and Spain, and even handling free kicks now. It's clear he understands one thing. As an attacker, if he wants to claim the Ballon d'Or in the future, his goal tally has to rise dramatically. And with his current dedication, so perhaps Lamine Yamal himself won't be too upset about missing out this year. And there you have it, the 5 main reasons we believe Lamine Yamal lost the 2025 Ballon d'Or to Ousmane Dembélé. But now we want to hear from you. Do you agree with our take? Are there other factors we missed? What did you think of the awards this year, fair or controversial? Was there any category where a player got robbed? And looking ahead, do you believe Lamine Yamal will eventually lift the Ballon d'Or? How many do you think he'll retire with when his career is over? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing your opinions. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell notification so you never miss our in-depth football analysis. And remember, the world of football is always full of surprises, and the story of Lamine Yamal is far from over. Stay tuned because the next chapter might just be his biggest yet.